Hey guys, how you doing? Yes, my name is Kathura Kimathi and welcome to my channel, Landmarks with Kahu. So today I'd like us to talk about word problems, okay? So word problems are simply stories, okay? So in this type of questions, you'll be given some scenarios and then you'll be asked to calculate a few things. And another thing that you need to understand is that every topic in maths has word problems, okay? So the first time I introduced this topic is when we went through word problems on whole numbers, okay? So today we'll specifically talk about word problems for LCM and GCD because that's what we've been talking about lately, okay? And there are a few things that you need to understand here. I'll show you some keywords that will help you understand which concept you're expected to use between LCM and GCD, okay? So if a question wants you to use GCD, you'll see talking about the concept of sharing things equally among friends or basically anyone, okay? So if you're told something in the lines of, like you're given a list of items, for instance, and you're told that the items you've been given are shared equally without leaving a remainder, then you should automatically use GCD, okay? And I also want you to remember that GCD in full is greatest common divisor. So that means that if you see greatest or biggest or largest in a question, that should tell you that that question expects you to use GCD, okay? So how do you know if a question wants you to use LCM? So if you see things that are recurring or a cycle that's repeating itself, like if you're told something in the lines of 3 bells were ringing at the same time, for instance, and I also need you to remember also LCM in full is least common multiple, okay? So that means that if you see words like least or shortest or smallest, then you should use LCM, okay? So those are some of the keywords that will help you answer this question, okay? And of course, yeah, so with that being said, I'll do some examples to start you off. And because I've noticed word problems is a topic that stresses many people, I'll try to do as many questions as I possibly can. So I'll divide this topic into different parts. So I'll divide this topic into different parts. Shall we begin? Let's go through the first question. 3 tanks are capable of holding 36, 84, and 90 liters of milk. Determine the capacity of the greatest vessel which can be used to fill each one of them an exact number of times, okay? So in this question, there are 2 keywords that show us that you're supposed to use GCD, okay? So first keyword is the greatest vessel because we said GCD in full is greatest common divisor, okay? And another word that shows us that you're supposed to use GCD is can be used to fill each one of them an exact number of times, okay? So this shows that there are some things that are shared equally without leaving a remainder, okay? So here you find the GCD of the 3 tanks. And I showed you how to calculate GCD and LCM in our previous lessons. I'll leave the link to a playlist on GCD and LCM so that we are all on the same page, okay? So remember that GCD in full is greatest common divisor. So it's a one number fits all kind of thing, okay? So what I mean by that is you have to divide the numbers with one number that can actually divide all of them, okay? So you'll start by dividing the numbers by 2. So 36 divided by 2 is 18, 84 divided by 2 is 42, and 90 divided by 2 is 45. And since 45 is not divisible by 2, we can't divide these numbers by 2, okay? So the next prime number is 3. Are these numbers divisible by 3? Yes, these numbers are all divisible by 3. So that means that you can divide all of them by 3, okay? And by the way, I'll leave the playlist on the divisibility test so that you are all on the same page. I'll leave it in the description box below, okay? So 18 divided by 3 is 6, 42 divided by 3 is 14, and 45 divided by 3 is 15. So, is there a common number that can divide 6, 14, and 15 without leaving a remainder? Absolutely not. So that means that the GCD is 2 times 3, which is 6 liters. Let's go through another example. 3 bells ring at intervals of 40 minutes, 45 minutes, and 60 minutes. If they ring simultaneously at 6:30 a.m., at what time will they next ring together? So the keyword here is simultaneously. So this shows that these bells ring at the same time, okay? These bells ring together. So that shows we'll use LCM, okay? And for LCM as opposed to GCD, we are not sharing things equally. So here, we'll divide everything until we get 1 under all the numbers, okay? So LCM is, okay, so now we'll need to convert these minutes into hours. So we'll ask ourselves, how many hours are in 360 minutes if we know for sure that 1 hour has 60 minutes, okay? So if 1 hour has 60 minutes, then that means that 360 minutes will have more hours, okay? So that's why we'll multiply 1 hour by the bigger number, which is 360, and then divide by the smaller number, which is 60 minutes, okay? So when we do that, we get 6 hours. And the question is asking us if they ring simultaneously at 6:30 a.m. at what time will they next ring together, okay? So they'll ring together, or rather at the same time, after 6 hours. So that means that we'll add the 6 hours to 6:30 a.m. so that we know the next time the 3 bells will ring together. So when you do that, when we add, we get 12:30 p.m. Are we together? So I believe we are. So I believe we can stop there for today. I'll help you practice with more questions in our upcoming lessons, okay? Additionally, I'd like to mention that I offer tutoring services. So if you're interested in getting tutored, please make sure you fill out the Google form that I've included in the description box of this video, as well as in all my other videos. I'll reach out to you as soon as possible, okay? Yes, if you enjoyed the lesson, feel free to like, share, because sharing is caring, and subscribe so that you don't miss any time I upload a new video. Subscribing is free, yay! See you in 2 weeks' time, same place. Bye!